Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys again to the show on Dreamerspro. And today I got a pretty interesting episode. We're gonna get into a little bit of sports beef. We're gonna get into the beef between Damian Lillard, Patrick Beverly, and Paul George after the game last night. And we're gonna be also talking about Anthony Davis. And I got some real questions about whether or not Anthony Davis can be the leader that that the Lakers need him to be. Moving forward. So before we get into that, I want you guys to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because remember, we're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers, and also hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, we're on Spotify and iTunes. We're going to link that in the description below. So you guys can definitely check out the Dreamerspro podcast. It's up and running, and you guys can hopefully enjoy that. Follow it. Make sure you go out and follow it, so whenever we upload episodes on there, you guys don't miss it. Because I know some of you guys just prefer to listen to your content rather than sit down and watch a full episode on your phone or whatever it is, because maybe you're busy. So we completely understand that, and that's the reason we made that available for our audience, just to make sure you guys are, make sure we're doing the best to keep you guys engaged and keep all of you guys happy. So let's get into it. All right, now this is a funny one, and all right, I saw the game last night between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Clippers. All right, it was a close game. The first two quarters were pretty much a mess for the Clippers because they didn't play great defense. But in the third quarter, they were able to start getting into their defensive stride. And in the fourth quarter, with about 30 seconds left to go, they were able to take the lead. All right, they were able to take the lead in that game. Now, that game has some storylines. One, Kawhi Leonard didn't play. He sat down, which I have no problem with because I think he's going to play the next game. Montrezl Harrell wasn't available that game because, he's dealing with a family emergency, but he'll be back with the team next week. So that's good news for Clippers fans. And Lou Williams didn't play many minutes in the fourth quarter. And if you listen to commentary by, I think it's Stan Van Gundy. Is it Stan Van Gundy? Stan Van Gundy, he was saying that there's no way that the Clippers would have this lineup in a late game situation in the playoffs. So you can see that Doc Rivers was just trying to maybe instill some more confidence in his guys. Maybe he was trying to throw the Portland Trail Blazers a bone like, hey, go ahead and beat that team. So go ahead and beat this team so you guys can go into the bubble, get the number 8 seed, and possibly give the Lakers a hard time in the first round or possibly knock them off like some people think they can, like Charles Barkley and others. So that might have been part of, the Clippers' strategy for not really playing their best players down the stretch. They took out Paul George again with 6 minutes left in the game, so he didn't play. He didn't close out the game. So it was pretty much the Portland Trail Blazers playing with their best lineup, playing desperation basketball, trying to get into this play-in tournament to get that number 8 seed. So they ended up losing the game. All right, we all know that. Now, what was the storyline at the end of the game? The storyline at the end of the game was Damian Lillard, who is Dame Time, who is one of the most clutch basketball players ever, hit multiple, series clinching shots in the playoffs. You saw what he did to the Oklahoma City Thunder not too long ago. You saw what he did to the Houston Rockets a few years ago. So Dame Time he's a really clutch player. But yesterday we had an aberration at the free throw line. All right, we had an aberration. The Portland Trail Blazers, I believe, were down a point. Damian Lillard was fouled, okay? And he went to the free throw line. He missed the first free throw, all right? And you guys got to go back and watch the highlights, especially in the last few seconds of that game, because when he missed the free throw, you got to go look at the reaction of the Clippers bench, all right? When he misses the first free throw, just pause and look at the reaction of the bench, because the bench players, everybody looked like they just got electrocuted. Like everybody jumped up. Even Kawhi. Now, Kawhi Leonard, I'm going to snap on Kawhi Leonard a little bit. Kawhi Leonard is the best player on the Clippers team, right? But when you look at him in his street clothes, Kawhi looked like one of those dudes like they were just keeping somebody's seat warm from them. Like somebody just say, hey, man, just sit in my seat so when I get back, nobody takes my seat. Like he was there, but he looked like he wasn't even supposed to be there. He looked like uncomfortable in his seat. He had like this funny mask on that looked like it had like a radio device, like some kind of like Secret Service mask that he had on. So Kawhi Leonard, man, I guess he is a funny guy because looking at him, I was cracking up. So he missed the first free throw. All right, so he missed the first free throw. if you look at Patrick Beverly and Marcus Morris on the bench, these dudes, their reaction to him missing the first free throw was hilarious. But it didn't stop there. So he misses the first free throw. And I know that Damian Lillard must have seen that, all right? And maybe I think Paul George is on the bench too, so he saw that too. Then he misses the second free throw. And if you look at the reaction of Patrick Beverly and Marcus Morris, I think he was saying something like, damn, 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 damn. And then he like fell off the side of the bleachers or whatever it was. And it was hilarious just watching him. Now, I don't think that Damian Lillard saw that because probably it was in the heat of the moment, so he didn't see that. So I had to like go back and look at the highlights because in the game they're running it in real time. So after the game, I actually had a chance to go and look at the reaction of what Patrick Beverly was doing, and it was it was hilarious because he got this like lemon green jumpsuit on, and the way he walked it just looked funny as hell to me. So watching Patrick Beverly and then in the back you could actually see Lou Williams like cracking up too. So it was straight up comedy watching that segment of the game. And at the end of the game, Patrick Beverly comes out and he goes like, bye-bye, or whatever it is. But I don't think Damian Lillard saw it. So in the post game, they asked Damian Lillard about it. Like, yo, did you see Patrick Beverly and these guys clowning you at the end of the game? And he goes, I didn't see it, but I heard it. And that's when Damian Lillard just started roasting him. He was just like, these dudes, they must be used to it because, I've given Patrick Beverly nightmares. He saw what I did in Houston a few years ago, and I sent Paul George home last season. Was it last season? Yeah, I sent him home last season, and so he knows what it is. I've given these guys a lot of sleepless nights and all of this, and he was really like just nonchalant but direct about it, which made it even more cold-blooded. Because it's Dame time. So let me just give you guys some of the tweets thereafter. So he says that, right? And then Patrick Beverly tweets Cancun on 3 with the 3 laughing emojis, right? And I was like, yo, that's hilarious. So he continues on with that. And then Paul George tweets out, and you getting sent home this year with the laughing emoji respect with the fist. So Dame time would not be undone. And Damian Lillard comes back and says, keep switching teams, running from the grind. You boys is chumps. And I just thought that was hilarious that he was able to just come back on him, so quickly. And then they went back and forth a few times about it. And then Paul George went into something about how he came back from an injury. But I thought it was hilarious, man. I thought it was hilarious that, especially with Patrick Beverly, man, because watching them, their antics at the end of the game, which is really funny, but it also shows you the confidence that these dudes have within themselves. And, Damian Lillard wasn't going to take it lying down. Now, for the Portland Trailblazers to sort of get back at the Clippers, I think is going to be pretty hard because first they got to get into the playoffs. And then once they get into the playoffs, they now have to see how they're going to end up meeting up with each other. So it's going to be really hard for them to get back on them this season. Probably they'll get them back next season when they play in the regular season, if that's what most likely is gonna happen. But for me, I thought that was dumb funny. Like, it was so funny. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you guys think about that whole back and forth? Because I'm sure some of you guys saw it, and I'm sure some of you guys thought it was hilarious. So please make sure you let me know what your thoughts and opinions on that about that segment. Now, let me shift over to Anthony Davis, man. Oh man, I don't know what to say about AD. I don't know what what Shannon Sharp must be doing right now. I don't know what he must be thinking. I know Nick Wright must have been in his bed in his house crying or something, because the whole story about the Lakers is, well, at least Lakers supporters, they like to make the argument that the Lakers have the best tandem in the NBA, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with that, and I've always said I don't agree with that. I've always said that I thought the Clippers, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard are the best duo in the entire NBA. I think Kawhi Leonard is the most clutch player in the NBA. I think he's the best perimeter defender in the NBA. I think he's probably one of the most confident players in the NBA, and I think him and Paul George's game just complements each other fantastically. Now, obviously, LeBron James and Anthony Davis they're also very scary, especially in the pick and roll with LeBron James' ability to see the floor and make plays. I was watching the highlights of the game between the Indiana Pacers and the Lakers, and LeBron was making some. I mean, yes, he ended up the game with 7 assists, but if you go back and look at those assists, it was unbelievable, his passing ability. And it's one of the reasons why he's an all-time great. We kind of forget about that. We get into the whole MJ comparison, but when we look at his ability to make plays, it is all-time special, man. Some of the passes he was making, man, was incredible. Now, we're not talking about LeBron James. We're talking about Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis against the Indiana Pacers played 35 minutes and got you 8 points, 4 assists, and 8 rebounds. Now, that can't happen. Okay, if the Lakers are supposed to be winning this championship, you can't have performances like this from AD at all. Now, some people may say, well, Paul George has had similar outings. And now what I say to that is, I'm not talking about Paul George in this video. We're talking about the fact that Anthony Davis is supposed to be that second wheel for the Lakers to win this championship. And you can't have outings like this. And it makes me question whether or not Anthony Davis has the dog in him. Not just for this season, but going into the future. LeBron will retire. LeBron James is 35 years old. Next season he'll be 36 or 34, whatever. He's 36, 37. He's going to retire. AD is 27 years old. He's a young dude, okay? I assume that the Lakers want to keep him for the foreseeable future as to be the cornerstone of that franchise. For the season, he's averaging amazing numbers, and one might say he's been the best player for the Lakers statistically. 26 points, 9.4 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 1.4 steals, and 2.3 blocks. But those are regular season numbers, okay? In the playoffs, you need to take it to another level. If you watched Anthony Davis in last night's game, they were double teaming him left and right, and he looked like a fish out of water. It looked like he didn't know how to handle those double teams, and in the playoffs, he's going to be double teamed a lot. I don't think people realize that people are not just going to let AD play one-on-one. And you may say, well, why not? Because the Lakers don't have enough shooting on the floor. If the Lakers had a lot of shooting or a lot of spacing, then AD could play one-on-one. It's the same reason that Kevin Durant, once he went to the Golden State Warriors, they became unbeatable because he could play one-on-one. You can leave it. You can leave anyone. You can leave. Are you gonna leave Stephen Curry? Hell no. And Stephen Curry, the way he scores, he's always moving around. So the defense is always scrambling, and it's the exact same thing with Klay Thompson. They're always on the move. So you couldn't take your attention off of those guys for a second, which allowed Kevin Durant to just play one-on-one, in which case he's unguardable. He is unguardable one-on-one. In the case of Anthony Davis, though, he's not going to have that luxury. Teams are going to double team him, and they're going to force other players to beat them. In which case, he needs to be able to handle the double team well, play out of it well, catch the ball, be quick, be decisive about it. And seeing that type of performance from him just makes me question whether or not this guy has what it takes to lead that organization in the future. It's a legitimate question to me. Now, some people would say he's very talented, blah, 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 blah. But if you don't think that's a real question, then you're not watching these games hard enough. Anthony Davis is not like an NBA champ. He's not been, he hasn't had all this great playoff experience. Paul George, for as bad as he is, has had more playoff experience than Anthony Davis. He's gone deeper in the playoffs before. So I think there's a real question mark for the Lakers moving forward. And I just question whether or not he has that mental drive to really be an all-time great for the Lakers. I'm not talking about playing for any other team. We're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers, the team that has 16 NBA championships, with an LA fan base that is spoiled for choice, and they're not going to sit back and just allow any kind of nonsense to be going on in their arenas. They will boo you. Okay, they're like Knicks fans. Knicks fans and LA fans, they don't play. So it's a real question mark in my mind. And what I want to know from you guys is quite simple. Do you think that Anthony Davis has that dog in him to be an all-time great Laker and lead them for championships in the future? And also let me know what your thoughts and opinions about on that whole Patrick Beverly, Damian Lillard, Paul George beef. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charlton from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day. Peace.